You know that feeling, right? A few clicks online, and then almost like magic, a package shows up on your doorstep. Well, it's not magic. It's this incredibly complex dance called tactical logistics. And today, we're going to pull back the curtain on that amazing invisible system that gets your orders from a warehouse right to you. Seriously, think about it. That one little click sets off a massive chain reaction. It's a signal that zips through warehouses, maybe even wakes up machines in factories, and can travel across oceans. So what is actually going on inside that intricate web? Come on, let's follow the signal. Okay, so before we can even begin to track a single order, we have to kind of zoom out and get the lay of the land. It helps to think of management not as just one thing, but more like 3 different levels of planning, each with its own job. Right, take a look at this. It breaks it down perfectly. Way up at the top, you've got the strategic level. These are the big bosses, thinking about the future, deciding what the company should even be doing. Down at the bottom, you have the operational level. That's the front line, the people on the ground actually doing the day-to-day work. But the real magic happens in the middle, at the tactical level. This is the crucial bridge, the how. It's the team that takes those big, lofty strategies and figures out how to make them happen in the real world. And this is the key point. When we're talking about the journey of a product from a warehouse to your house, we are deep inside the world of tactical management. It's their entire job to orchestrate everything so that the right thing shows up at the right place at exactly the right time, and of course, in perfect condition. So now that we have that structure in our heads, let's do it. Let's trace the journey of one single order, starting from the very second you place it. This is where that tactical plan really kicks into high gear. This map right here is basically our guide. Look over on the right, that's you, the customer, placing an order. That single action kicks off a flow of information. See how it moves to the left? Well, that information then triggers a flow of actual goods and materials moving back to the right. And finally, your money flows back to the start, completing the circuit. It's this perfect, continuous loop. Now, in a perfect world, every order follows what's called the happy path. It's super simple. You click buy, the system checks the warehouse, and yes, the item is sitting right there on a shelf in finished goods. The distribution team grabs it, boxes it up, and sends it on its way. Easy, fast, and exactly how you want it to work. But we all know it's not always that simple, is it? What happens when the thing you really want isn't just sitting on a shelf? This is where the real genius, the true challenge of tactical logistics comes out to play. The system can't just throw up its hands and say, sorry, we're out. It has to actually make it happen. Okay, so when an item is out of stock, we get to go behind the curtain and meet the company's central brain. This is a super powerful planning engine that is designed from the ground up to build the very thing you just ordered. Suddenly, your order isn't just a simple delivery anymore. Nope, it's now an official demand that gets plugged into something called the Master Production Schedule, or MPS. The best way to think about the MPS is as the company's ultimate to-do list. It details exactly what needs to be made, how many, and by when. And your out-of-stock item? It just got added to the list. So once the MPS decides what needs to be made, the very next question is, well, how do we make it? What do we need? That's the job of another program, the Material Requirements Planning System, or MRP. The MRP looks at that master to-do list and calculates every single nut, bolt, wire, and piece of plastic required to build your product. It is, quite literally, the ultimate shopping list. And how does the MRP know what to put on its shopping list? It uses something called a bill of materials, or BOM. The source material uses the perfect analogy here. It's a recipe. Just like a recipe for a cake, the BOM lists every single ingredient and all the steps, in the right order, to create the finished product. All right, so all this complex planning we've been talking about, it generally operates under one of 2 big overarching philosophies. Companies have to make a fundamental choice. Do we make a bunch of stuff in advance, hoping people will buy it, or do we wait for someone to actually place an order before we start building? This is the core difference between a push and a pull system. Let's break this down because it's really important. A push system is proactive. It tries to guess future demand, making products based on forecasts. Think about your local grocery store. They push milk onto the shelves, hoping you'll come in and buy it. That means they have to hold a lot of inventory. On the flip side, a pull system is reactive. It doesn't do anything until a customer order pulls the production process into action. The classic example is building a custom computer on Dell's website. They don't build it until you order it. This means very little inventory, but you have to wait longer. Now, these systems, particularly the push ones that rely on forecasting, have a nemesis. There's a villain in this story. It's a problem so disruptive it can literally bring entire supply chains to their knees. It's called the bullwhip effect. Just picture someone cracking a whip. A tiny little flick of the wrist creates a huge, violent wave at the very tip. Well, the exact same thing happens in a supply chain. Let's say a store sees a small bump in sales for a product. They might place a slightly bigger order with their supplier to be safe. That supplier sees the bigger order and places an even bigger order with the manufacturer, who then orders way more raw materials than they actually need. That tiny little ripple at the customer end becomes a massive, chaotic wave upstream. And the consequences of this are just brutal. You end up with companies stuck with mountains of inventory they can't sell. Or, sometimes even worse, they're completely out of stock because their planning is all over the place. It creates incredible waste, drives up costs, and leads to really unhappy customers. Honestly, trying to tame the bullwhip effect is one of the biggest jobs in all of tactical logistics. So the next time that box lands on your doorstep, just take a second. Think about its secret life, its journey to you. Was it sitting on a shelf just waiting for you, a classic product of a push system? Or did your click kickstart its creation from nothing, pulling it all the way through the system just for you? The answer to that question tells you pretty much everything about the philosophy of the company that sent it.